Hey, welcome back to my studio here in Queenstown. All right, let's get those photos off the WD My Passport wireless and import them. We can simply connect to my Wi-Fi network here and grab them. All I have to do is plop down that My Passport anywhere in the house and it connects in, or I can connect through USB 3.0. Okay, so let's copy over the photos. Okay, so over here on the left is My Passport. I just connected to it, no problem. Now I go to Public. I go to SD card imports, my 64 gigger, diving deep. And down in here, we're gonna have all the files that we want, okay? So I'll go ahead and grab all of them, and then I will copy them locally over to, well, in this case, my desktop. So I'll just drop them here inside New Import, and they will come in. All right, let's fast forward. Here we are magically hanging out here in Sweet Lady Lightroom, and here are the photos that we're gonna play with, all right? Now, some of y'all that know me know I'm really into this thing called HDR, high dynamic range. And so I'll do a super quick HDR shot here. If you want to find out more, there's a whole HDR tutorial that's free on my website over to Stuck in Customs. But let's decide which of these three sets we're going to do. Of course, an HDR shot, a good one's got a dark, medium, and a bright one. That's what we have here. And sometimes when I'm trying to compare, what I'll do is I'll go grab the middle frame and I'll compare it to another middle frame. So that's a middle exposure. And comparing it to this one, I like this one better because in this one, the tree is all lit up. All right, it's really nicely lit with that nice reflection. And over here, you can see the tree is not lit. All right. So, by the way, this is one of my first hot tips for a good reflection, is make sure that the lighting is good. Because if you have dead lighting, the reflection just doesn't come off as hot, it doesn't pop as much, all right? You can see how this reflection just really does this amazing stuff. I mean, almost looks like a Photoshop reflection, doesn't it? Unbelievable. Okay, so let's grab these three shots and do trois. And now we will drop them into Sweet Lady Photomatics. All right, merging them together. I would go pretty fast here, you'll have to forgive me. Taking on tripod. Of course, the full tutorial, including the video tutorial, they go very, very slow, so you can take your time, all right? But it's a super duper fun tool, and I think we're gonna make a good shot here. Let's see what happens. All right, let's get rid of that histogram. That thing just confuses me. All right, so here I'm flipping through my presets. These are sort of Trey's Photomatics presets. And you kind of already see the effect that we're getting. It's pretty unbelievable, isn't that? Just like beautiful already. And you know, you can make a strong argument that you can just stop at this point. We'll do a little bit of extra tweaking. By the way, the further you go into my Photomatics presets here, the more druggy they get. So if you just want to take it easy, just tap on the brakes, cowboy. You can just, you know, head up here where things are a little bit more sane. All right, let's go here with Find Me Now. So that's sort of a starting point. Let's tweak out some of these other ones. It comes off a little hot. By the way, here's a hot tip. This is a new computer I just set up. Be sure to go to Photomatics and Preferences and change this one to continuously as the slider moves, so that as you move the slider back and forth, you can see what the heck it does. Because I always forget, even though I have processed tens of thousands of images, I forget what these little descriptions mean. So I just kind of grab them and slide them around to see what I like and what I don't like. All right. I think it's always important to have a bit of black inside your HDR shot. You don't want to make it too saturated, but just nicely tone mapped. All right, that's looking pretty good. So we'll say apply. And now for the finishing touches, I often like to jump over to the sharpening tab and give a little bit of medium sharpening something. Right there. All right, boom shakalaka, that is looking good. All right, so let's go ahead and save this one. Now let's go back into Lightroom and let's make a really good one with the sky. Okay, just the sky here. Okay, we'll make a good picture all around, but let's just jump into the develop module, because the idea here is, and those of you that have seen me do this a few hundred times, you know the drill, is that I like to make a cool one in Photomatics, and then I like to come make a cool one here in Lightroom. And then I merge the two together into one photo that will rule them all. So as I'm moving these around, it has nice effects almost everywhere, but I'm mostly just looking at the clouds, okay? Because I want to get a nice blue, beautiful sky, okay? Sometimes, in all honesty, Photomatics can really mess up the sky, all right? So we're just going to play a little bit here. Just playing. We're like kids with 64,000 crayons, just kind of goofing around, having a nice time. All right, that looks pretty good. Pretty good. So I'm going to export this as an idea. Okay. And this is going to end up in the same place as my Photomatics version. Let's jump over into Bridge and take a look. Okay, here we are over in Bridge. And by the way, here's some other photos I was working on recently. There's my cute daughter on the little mini horse. That was a couple days ago here down in Gibson Valley. So we're going to take these two photos. As you can see, there's slightly different interpretations of the same light. Okay, there's things I like about each one. All right, but let's take these two. And we're going to go to Tools, Photoshop, Load Files into Photoshop Layers. There's many ways to skin the layer cat in Photoshop. This is how I'm choosing to do it. You can go directly from Lightroom, and I'm not going to be one of those nerds that tells you 50 ways to do the same thing. Okay, here we go. Boom shakalaka. Let's get this thing arranged right. We've got our two layers here on the right. Got our top layer and bottom layer. Typically what I do, like this is the HDR one on top, which I do like better, so I'll kind of leave that one on top, all right? So we're going to mix and match the two together. All right, so let's make a layer mask. Click on this little Japanese flag. All right, pick our brush. Make our brush nice and big. Let's drop down the opacity a little bit. Let's scrub that thing down. And let's just start scrubbing over here. Whoops, I gotta make it black, otherwise it won't scrub. Okay, here we go. Look at that. So now we're bringing some detail back into those clouds. Fantastic, fantastico. Now I'll keep hiding and showing the layer beneath just to see what's happening, okay? Some of the green in the Photomatics one is coming off a little bit hyperactive, I think. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna click and kind of paint on the sides here a little bit. Because I think the sides should start kind of more normal, and then it can get a little bit more extreme, so to speak, as it goes into the middle. All right, looking good. I like the Photomatics reflection a lot better. I like the colors a lot better. Let's go ahead and zoom in here and see what kind of action we have. All right, nice and sharp. This is looking really, really good. Okay, so as I move around, I'm just gonna pick some of the contrasty things, like, you know, there's a few little farm gates here and there to keep the sheep here, so let's get rid of some of those. I'm just using the content aware patch tool here, and it's kind of programmatically making some new stuff. All right, just trying to pop a few of these high contrast areas. We don't want the eye drawn unnecessarily there. Okay, very cool. As long as we're here, let me show you one other tip, one of the 3 tips. For a good reflection, one thing you might want to do is have an uneven horizon. Because sometimes if your horizon is perfectly steady and there's no variation in it, then people's default reaction sometimes is, oh, that's just a Photoshop reflection, it's not real. But you can see with this kind of varied coastline, so to speak, that, you know, this would be almost impossible to do in Photoshop. So I think that helps to make it much more natural. All right. And the third tip I'll give you is that one great thing you can do with a reflection shot, which normally is sort of a compositional no-no, is you can orient the whole thing and compose it for the center. Okay. So in a reflection, it's perfectly okay to have things centered. You can sort of ignore that rule of thirds, or, well, I'm more into the rule of phi. Okay, so let's just zoom in here, take one more look around the photo. Okay, fast forwarding a little bit here, I'm gonna go ahead and crop it in just a little bit. I feel like there's a little bit too much space over here. Let's pull it down from the top, pull it up here a little bit. Oh yeah, this is looking good. Hit enter. All right, excellente. Okay, so I think we are done. Let's look at a before and after. So here is the before shot, and here is the after shot. All right, well, thanks for watching. I hope you had a good time, and I will see you next time.